Hey guys. So, on this episode, we're going to deal with title issues. Yay! So, let's talk a little bit about the title. So, I bought this boat from a Nautical Donations, which have been fantastic. So, what they do is they take derelict boats, boats that are donated, boats that people just don't want to deal with selling them. I covered this a little bit in a previous video, and they sell them for them. And it's a mutual beneficial relationship, and it works out great. This boat in particular, what happened is when Nautical Donations went to register the hull ID number, the hull ID number came back as invalid because it was only 11 digits. It should be 12 digits. So what they did is they just got a replacement title, or a replacement hull ID number that went on the title. Well, the problem with that is the Coast Guard and insurance companies both see that as a salvage title. So I had to go through a bit of a process in order to get that removed and get it back to the original hull ID number. It took a little bit of research. So one of the things I did is I got on the Tanzer 25 and Tanzer 29 Facebook group, and I said, hey, who out there has a Tanzer 29? Can you tell me what the first three digits are of your hull ID number? Because what was going on was it wasn't Tanzer, it wasn't TAN. It was a little confusing to me. So down below, I'll put this in the description. There is a website you can go to, and you can look up all of the three-digit denotations that go at the beginning of a hull ID number that the Coast Guard recognizes as the manufacturer ID. So those first three are the manufacturer. So Tanzer was TAN or TZN, one of those two. It may have had a third one, but this one was not any of those. The second digit was a T and then an I. Didn't make sense. Now, what I could have done is went through and registered that hull ID number with all of those original digits. So just start with A and go all the way through. Problem is, on this hull ID number, there are what I thought was a number 1 is actually the letter I. So I would have gotten it wrong. I would have went through the whole thing and I wouldn't have been able to figure it out. So some of the guys that own Tanzers came back and said, hey, this is the hull ID number that I have, and position number 3 and position number, I think it was 9, are I's, not 1's. So that's what I needed. So I found out that it was ZTI. A little bit of history behind Tanzer when I researched it. The reason it wasn't a Tanzer number is because Tanzer was purchased in 1986 at auction. So different boats and different lines of their boats were purchased and finished by other people. Well, the people who bought this one, which is Ampro something, it's a French-Canadian company, they put a split backstay on, and that split backstay covered the first digit of the hull ID number. So that's kind of a long story, but eventually I got the original hull ID number. Now, the state of Illinois actually allows on vessels, not cars, but on vessels, for you to revert back to or revert off of a salvage title if it's inspected. So originally I thought I was going to have the Department of Natural Resources come out and do an inspection on the boat and say that everything was good, and then apply for that title to be taken back or off salvage or get it. But once I found the original hull ID number and I got to the state of Illinois, they said, hey, this is clean. This is good. You got it. We got all the records on here. We're good. So the problem is when I originally got my survey done, the survey says salvage title. And the surveyor would not take that off until the original hull ID number was back on the boat. Well, I couldn't get it insured, and the Coast Guard wouldn't recognize it. It could be considered as a stolen vessel because there's just a whole thing about registration and all that stuff. So what I ended up doing is going to the state of Illinois, getting them, once I showed them the evidence of everything, gave them the correct hull ID number. They changed everything back in their records. I sent in my registration, and then they sent back everything that I needed with the new hull ID number. The surveyor, unfortunately, still would not change it, and found that there's an alternative way with some insurance companies to get the boat insured without paying a professional surveyor. So I gave them all of the information that I had on the hull ID number, everything that went in there. I also had the Coast Guard auxiliary come out and do a safety inspection on the vessel, and they passed the safety inspection, flying colors. I had way more than I needed to, so that was all good. And then I submitted all of that paperwork and an explanation to to the insurance company, and the insurance company said, because of all this information you have, we're good. What we're going to do is have you fill out a self-survey, which is a short 2-page, to go through and fill all these things out to the best of your knowledge. They'll review that, and then they'll set the value of the boat based on market value and what they've seen has been done to the boat, and then that will be your insurance levels. So I went through all that. It went great, and now the boat is insured, so we're good to go. So it took a little bit of work. It took a little bit of effort. The biggest thing I would say is when you get a boat like this is do as much research on the manufacturer of that boat as you possibly can. Wikipedia was great. I got a lot of information from a Facebook group that I joined, Tanser 25 and Tanser 29 owners. They were fantastic. A couple guys on there got to me right away, gave me information that I needed. And then just research as much as you can about the information. I knew more information about the boat and the company and the history than the surveyor did, and because of that, when I got that information to the insurance company, they were like, "Oh, well, this is great. This is everything we need." So that's why the boat hasn't gone in the water yet, because I haven't had that salvage title changed to reflect that it's not a salvage title. But now that that's all done, it's insured, we're going to get this girl in the water as soon as we possibly can. So I just wanted to give you kind of a little bit of an idea of what was going on with this, so that you kind of knew the process that you might have to go through if you get a boat that has a fraudulent title or a boat that has a title that is uninsurable. The biggest thing I would say is get someone in person at the Department of Natural Resources in your state. Once I got someone's actual name and number and called them directly instead of the 1-800 number, things went incredibly smoothly. He was super helpful. And, you know, I didn't run the title before I bought it. And I know a lot of you were like, "Oh my God," and I'll get comments down there, and I get it. It's fine. This is from a trusted source with Nautical Donations. I knew that anything came up, they would work with me. I already had contact with someone at DNR that I knew if there were any issues that came up, we could get them worked out. So I would advise anytime you're getting a boat, absolutely have the title checked. Run the title, make sure that it's clean. I took a very calculated risk in doing so, and it could have bit me, but in this situation it worked out, and I was fairly confident it would. So anyways, enough of all the boring stuff. We're going to get to the next video is going to be the interior cabinets. I'm actually going to post that in a day or so. So after this one, that next one will be right up, and you guys can take a look at it. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down in the comments below. And next couple videos, I'm hoping you're going to get to see this old girl hit the water. So thanks again, guys. See you next time.